Welcome back to The Full Perspective, everybody. We have the absolute pleasure of having Nicole Hart, aka Nicky Hart, finally here behind a mic after all these episodes, behind the camera, putting in work as the only paid employee of The Full Perspective for a long time. Nicky, thanks for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me.
No problem.
It's an honor.
It sounds a little weird telling my sister, like, hey, thanks for coming on, but I appreciate it, you know?
It's a weird dynamic.
Yeah. But a little bit about Nicole. Obviously, she is the younger sister of myself and part of three in the Hart household, me, Sean, and Nikki. And the only one left in the house that's still in school goes to URI. And what do you take there?
Kinesiology.
Kinesiology. Yeah. Study of the...
It's like health science, fancy word for it.
Health science?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What is that like? Sorry, you know what? You keep doing your...
No, you're good. We'll get into it.
Just blew my brain up, you know?
Yeah, I think we'll get right into it. We'll get into your story just by saying this. Walk us through, you being at URI, and I'm interested. I want to jump into your freshman year at URI, and you're a very interesting group of people because you are the COVID college freshman. And I did college as a freshman, and it was tough in itself, but I want you to tell me and tell Dredd what college was like as a freshman during COVID times.
Well, I graduated, senior year, and that year was cut short because of COVID. So I didn't, play lacrosse or, any sports, nothing. And URI was, the last school. I literally, walked on the campus, and I was like, yeah, this is cool, this is it, let's just do it. I just wanted to, go, because I was so upset, after, senior year, because I, you went through senior year, and, Sean, and, all my older friends, so I was, so excited, and I got cut short, and then I went to URI, and it was, I did cheer.
Yeah.
So when we went, it was, we were supposed to have groups of 3 in a dorm, and then it went to 2, and then some had 1, so some people were alone. And then kids just, went crazy. The quad was, packed, the cops were, driving on the quad, because everyone was, out of quarantine, let's go crazy.
Back to school.
Yeah, and then it got shut down, and then my coach, lost her mind. She went crazy and was, up our butts about it. Making sure, watching everything we did. So that sucked.
Yeah, I feel like putting college kids in a single is just not the way to do it.
Yeah.
I feel like a part of the college experience is meeting new people.
Yeah.
So when you're just alone in a room, you can just be locked in there.
Well,
I know kids are just locked in all day.
It was bad because I thank the Lord loved my roommate. Love that girl to this day. And normally, for a freshman year, you could go, in other dorm, buildings and stuff and have, probably, 5 kids max or something. I don't know what the normal rules are. But when I was there, they were you can't have anyone else. You can't even step foot in another dorm building. We could have more than 2 people. So it was just be my roommate. So, me, I would go to, our other friends. We'd, have to, sneak in. And, we'd just sit there and, play cards. We'd have to be so quiet. They were so strict on it. And, the masks and everything, I had 1 in-person class, and it was communications, and everything else was online. And it was
Really?
bad. Yeah.
So, first off, COVID is tough because obviously people have gotten sick from it and very deadly virus, whatever you want to call it. But the other side of it is kind of the hidden side, where if you're a freshman, you're coming in, you can only have, like you said, 1 person in there in a dorm room. You have 1 in-person class.
Mm-hmm.
So big part of freshman year is social experience.
Yeah.
That's where you meet all your friends.
Yeah.
That's the other side of the card.
The tough part is that, when you go into your freshman year of college, everyone's oh, you're all in the same boat, you're all trying to make new friends. We didn't have orientation, nothing in person. First day was, the first, here's everyone, and I was but when I did cheer, my coach was like, she started tracking our location, which I don't even know if that's
Is that legal?
legal.
We'll get into.
Okay,
Cheer.
but I was locked in my dorm room like 24/7, and like the only time that I could like socialize was cheer in my one class that I had.
Yeah.
And of course, I didn't talk because I was like petrified. I wasn't used to like people, so I was like, yeah.
So was it hard to make friends? Like, I feel like I've never asked you that.
Well, yeah, but like my roommate, so she moved in before me, and she was like, oh, like 4 of my friends from home are here. And I was like, I didn't know anyone. No one from Middleborough, like no one from anywhere. I don't know anyone that went there. And
You're the only Middleborough person in your grade at Rhode Island.
Yeah,
Is that what you're
and
saying?
like I think above me and below me, I'm pretty sure.
That's interesting.
So so I went and I was like, all right, and she was like, these are my 4 friends. They were all guys, and I was like, all right, like, hey guys, and I'm still friends with them to this day. But if I didn't have them, like, they were really like the only, like, I had friends in the cheer team, but
Yeah, I remember when it was my senior year in college when COVID happened, and the school completely shut down, and everyone went to online. And I'm telling you, no one gave a shit. Like, we were just like, fuck it. We hop on, everyone, no cam on, no audio. You could be sleeping the entire time.
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't give a shit.
yeah, I would like, well, I did that sometimes, but I was like a nerd with school. I still kind of am. Like, I'm very like, so I would every day be on, and kids would be like caught like snoring, like, and the audio would go off, and I'd be like, ooh.
You know, okay, this is a little side story. This is absolutely hilarious. So I'm in one of my capstone, I think that's what it's called, capstone classes for entrepreneurship, and this guy is like typing, like, you know, you can send like direct messages to other kids in like in the room.
Oh, like the chat thing?
Yeah, and he types it to everybody, and
including the teacher.
Including the teacher.
No.
Says this teacher is so fucking stupid. Blah, blah, blah. I can't believe she's not gonna just let us pass or fail this class. Like, we can't even come in. And she like read it, and she's like, and she started just crying. I was like, oh my god, this is the worst situation ever.
Oh, but it probably sucked for her too, though.
Yeah, it
like,
did.
she
It
doesn't want to teach on
That's
online.
You know me being a
That's
good
a
guy.
funny story, though.
So I sent her an email. I was like, yeah, like, we don't think of you like that. Don't worry.
Did you?
That's
Yeah,
a
I sent her an
leader.
email.
That is a
I was
leader.
like, I don't think you're like that. Like, you've been doing great.
Who says there
COVID.
can't be leaders in the classroom?
Right.
Well, you know, like, I'm not here being like, yo, I'll answer every question. Fuck that shit.
But you're gonna have your teacher's back.
I'm gonna have someone's back.
That's
I'm
a
not being
fact.
dickhead.
I did something like that one time. One time I was in anatomy class, and I actually loved the teacher. I was just like busy, like whatever, and I was online, and I unmuted it, and I said, I effing hate this class. And she goes, she didn't know who said it though, because there was like 200 kids, and she was like, what? Like, who said that? And I immediately logged off, and then I emailed her, and I was like, I said, like, oh, this class is so hard. Like, I just like made something up, but I was like, my God, I probably ruined the woman's day, and I actually liked her. Like, so I was
100%.
like,
Dude, being a teacher is a hard job
yeah.
with any grade. So.
Especially with COVID, like, everybody celebrates the best GPAs in all time in the history of school during the COVID year, and I just sit there and I think to myself, why do you think that happened? It's because you have a computer in front of you.
I had gym my senior year on Zoom. Gym.
Yeah.
Jogging circles.
Like, have you been to an internship?
Yeah.
Or do you just sit at home
Mm-hmm.
on my computer? Life experience,
Yeah.
bro.
All right, back on topic. Going back to
Life
freshman
experience.
year, COVID, cheerleading.
Yeah.
Collegiate Division I cheerleader. Run me through that, everything. Teach me about it. Tell me how your experience was, and sort of how it went, I would say.
Well, I kind of, when I went into cheer, it was kind of just like a, you know, why not? Like, I was kind of just like, try something new, whatever. And I walked on, and like, no one knew who I was. Like, no one knew me. It was kind of just like, I was just kind of just like the underdog. Like, I was just quiet, and I was just like in the corner. And then I did it like the whole year, and there was like, it was like 80% freshmen. Like, it was during COVID, 80% freshmen, couldn't party, like, couldn't do anything, like, literally could not do anything.
80% of the team was freshmen?
Not, like, factually, but, like,
Oh, okay.
it was, like, I think we had, like, 4 seniors.
Okay.
And then, like, a few juniors, but then a lot of the girls were like transfers as sophomores, so they were like technically freshmen because like whatever, but we had a lot of rookies basically, so that was tough. It was just like we were like chickens with our heads cut off. Like we had a really like talented team. They won nationals the year prior, but it was just like craziness with COVID, and like none of us knew, like we all knew what we were doing with the sport, but like it was just like craziness, like just constantly craziness. But the COVID thing started, and she was like the quad, everyone went on the quad, and I remember I went out on the quad and I wasn't doing anything. I was just like talking with people, whatever. Cops drove on the quad, like whatever, and they were just like, get off, and we are like, all right. And then I get a text at like 11, and she was like, go in your settings, everyone needs to send me their location. I don't know if that's legal, I don't know. I'm not gonna say her name.
It's a little sus.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But so
Keep names out of it.
yeah. Even though I could Google it. But so then
Google it. That is true. That's fair.
yeah.
Goes back to the highest GPA in history of mankind type thing, where people can just Google the answer.
Yeah. So she said that, and I was like, shit. Like, I'm never break the rules. Like, so I was like freaking out. Somehow, I don't know, but it said I was at my dorm all night. And I was like, all right, like, that's cool. And she basically called us all in. That happened, and she was like, if you're out, you're kicked off the team. So I was like, all right. And then another time, we could have sports. Football, every sport was, like, playing, doing whatever. And then no one could, like, party, though. Like, kids who didn't do sports couldn't party. So kids started, if they saw athletes, like, because there were still parties. If they saw athletes out at parties, they would take pictures of them and send it to, like, the coaches. So that was happening to us, because, like, all the girls were like, we're on the cheer team. And, like, duh, like, don't do that. I was never at a party, but kids started sending pictures in. And the seniors were pissed because, like, if any of us got COVID, like, the year was shut down.
What type of high school shit is that?
No, it was bad.
Yeah,
it was really bad.
Well, not even the party thing. It sounds like if she has your location, it's no fun.
No,
Let's go.
You couldn't go bowling at 11:30 at night if you
No.
wanted to.
no, I
Let's go with the
couldn't.
snakes in the grass and you're alright, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck pulls out their phone, takes pictures of another
No, I
kid
That's
swear
a
to
fact.
God.
and sends it to a coach?
That's what she told us. Like, I didn't see the pictures, but that's what my coach told us. And, like, the seniors were like, yeah, like, we're getting sent. Because kids were like, we can't party. Why can athletes, like, practice? And I was
So-
like,
Fucking
fair,
ass.
but...
So
like,
let's take a step back and look at it mentality-wise. How were you during that time? Were you pissed? Were you
personally...
depressed? Like that you're
I
in
mean-
your dorm room chained?
I'm gonna be honest, like, I'm gonna be dead serious. I blacked out. Like, which definitely my, like, mental health was not good, but, like, fully, it was wake up, school, cheer, wake up, school, cheer, every single day. And it was, like, my brain was constantly thinking of those two things. And it was, like, I just literally blacked out. Like, I wanted to be the best student, I wanted to be the best cheerleader, and it was, like, I didn't have an option. I was like, I want to do this, and I want to stay in school, and I want to stay on the cheer team, so I'm not, like, I didn't even, like, bat an eye. Like, I was like, she said no, so I'm not going out.
So you didn't even know if you were enjoying it or not enjoying it. You were.
No.
Did the days blur together?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
It was like, but then also, I remember the day they sat us down, and the seniors were full. Like, they were like, this is our senior year, like, da-da. And I was kind of like, yeah, like, hello, there's, like, so many freshmen here. Our senior year got taken away. I don't know if you don't care that your senior year of high school got taken away, but, like, their senior year of college is, like, gonna get taken away, like, for cheer. Like, just don't go out. Like, I felt for them, because, like, I was there.
Yeah.
So I was
You were
like...
you know what you were doing, not to interrupt you, but you were putting the team in front of yourself,
This is
essentially. Without even
Yeah.
realizing it?
I just didn't even, like, think twice. Like, I was kind of just like, alright, that's just it.
Yeah.
And I like to socialize. Like, I love meeting new people and, like, going out and, like, having fun. But I was just like, it literally was not an option in my head.
Mhm.
So I just didn't.
What is practice like? Because didn't you break a finger and an ankle and stuff like that? I feel like people, maybe some people who haven't seen it, don't know what cheerleading practice is like.
How do I explain it? Basically, it's like you do the flips. I'm gonna try to explain it in a easy way. You do the flips, and then there's pyramids, and there's 3 layers. So there's bottom layer, someone stands on their shoulders, and then there's a top. So it's bottom, mid, top. And then the top is like the little rag doll that gets thrown around all the time. That was me.
So you're on the top.
But I also was put into a mid too, so I had to throw girls while standing on a girl. And it was just like layers and like flips and like throw to left and throw right, and there were 2 sides.
I remember you were, like, there must have been times where you hit the deck hard and you were just...
Oh no, I did. It was bad. My poor mom, because I called her every day, like, crying. And my roommate, she'd be like, oh, well, do you want to, like, go to, like, get food? Sure. But, no, like, we'd go in, tumbling, the flips, horrible. My body, I cheered my whole life, like, since I was, like, 5, I don't even know. And so I had the tumbling down, and I had, like, hard tumbling for that level of cheer. Like, I had one of the hardest tumbling, but that was also great, but it was horrible because my body was, like, dying, but whatever. And then when I do pyramid, and pyramid was, like, one of the scariest things I've ever done in my life. It wasn't like that in high school. Like, high school was just throw her and catch her, like, hold on to her. It's layers and layers, and they would just throw me up, and sometimes they'd catch me, and sometimes I would see the big blue mat, and I would just hit it. It got to the point where I, like, snapped my ankle once, but I've broken my ankle so many times from, like, gymnastics and cheer that I was just like, they're just gonna give me ice and call it a day. So I just went to my dorm, iced, and then time went on, and our team kind of got a little smaller a little bit. Some were hurt, some left, and so she kind of was just, like, putting me everywhere. And it was very hard because it's, like, I feel like cheer is one of the most physically and mentally draining sports ever, and gymnastics. Like, that's just my opinion. But it was very stressful, and I just remember it was Valentine's Day, and we were all wearing pink, and we were doing pyramid, and I backflipped. So I would backflip, and then the girls would catch me and throw me on top of 2 people, and I flipped backwards, and I jammed my finger on a girl's leg, and my finger just, like, blew up, like, all right here. And I was like, shit. Like, I just, like, grabbed my hand, and I just, like, did a circle. No one said anything.
You
and,
just
like,
got up and ran it off?
Yeah, I just, like, held my hand, and I was like, shit.
And you were
then,
running in a circle?
No, I just, like, did, like, I just walked around the group, and I came back. And then she didn't say anything. So I went again. And then went to the doctor. Well, I went to whatever. And then it was broken. And she basically didn't care at all. Like, and it's a finger. Like, can't really do much about a finger. Like, you just wrap it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I'm not, like, playing golf here. Like, I'm, like,
Who didn't
flipping.
care, the coach?
Yeah, no.
What was that like for you?
I was just like, yeah, it's a finger. All right. So then I continued to do stuff. Like, a couple weeks later, jammed my finger.
Broke
Other
it
one.
again.
It was my left ring finger. Then it was my pointer finger. Broke that one. I was panicking. I was like, I cannot have a broken left ring finger. Like,
You had
whatever.
2 broken fingers on each hand.
Yeah. So
At the
then,
same time.
Yes. Oh, I looked like this. So then.
Scissor hands.
So
You're
then-
Mr. Krabs.
No, I was. And
My
then.
meeting does
Yeah.
So cheerleading, Division
So-
1, 2 broken fingers, 2 different hands. Where do you go
So
from
then, I was like, I'm
You
not
break your
going.
leg next.
I was like, I'm not going to the doctor. So I kid you not, I went to my dorm, and I was like, she's gonna make me cheer anyways. So I snapped a pencil, and I duct taped I made myself a whatever, brace, splint.
Splint.
Yeah. And
Yourself.
Yeah. Instead of going to the doctor. Because she was like, don't care. And I was like, alright. So then I went back. My roommate ended up getting COVID. We had like 3 double sessions, like 6 hours, 3 days in a row. I get a call. She's like, I have COVID. And I was like, not yes, but like, this means I go home and I can like relax. Right before I go into that practice, snapped this part of my finger. So now, I'm like...
Wait,
You're
you have
different, bro.
I had
three?
Different.
My
Three
hand
broken...
was like this big.
So you had two broken fingers and a broken hand on 2 different hands.
I never went to
and
the
you
doctor.
didn't go to the doctor.
Twice.
And you splinted your
The number 2 pencil.
your fucking hand with a number 2 pencil that you snapped in half and you taped it.
Yeah.
And you never went to a doctor.
I
And you
went for the
still
first one.
cheered.
No, I went, actually, I'm lying. I went for the first one, and then the second one I went, and they were just like, yeah, it's broken. Like, they can't do much about
No,
it.
you can't do anything about a broken finger, but the fact that
You continue to.
Yeah.
I didn't really, honestly, I didn't really have a choice. Like, I remember the third or second one, I went in, and she was like, alright, and I was like, my mother is gonna kill me. Like, it's to a point where the next finger I'm not gonna tell her. And I was like,
to the point where your fingers are going to be permanently
I know.
damaged.
so then I
You're gonna
went.
have a lot of arthritis.
Yeah, I already do, I think. So then I went in and she was like, alright, like, we'll take this one easy. I'm like, alright, 2 practices go by. She's like, you ready now? I'm like, yeah, sure. I'm like, it's so hard to explain the intensity of, like, I would flip into girls' hands and, like, push off their forearms. Like, I was fully had my full body weight, like, holding my body weight.
Nah, I get that. 'Cause you remember when Joe Scafani broke my toe?
Yeah.
And I played with a broken toe.
Yeah.
And this is.
That's where all your body weight goes though.
Yeah,
Broken
but this
toes
isn't-
and fingers are
This
no
is
joke.
even close to. You have 3 at this point,
Yeah,
right?
for my hand, so
That sucked.
that was when my roommate got COVID. And so I went home and I was like, yes. She was fine. She was fine. She's perfectly healthy. I was like, yes, like, oh my god, I can relax. I don't know if I'm, like, allowed to say this, but I'm just gonna anyways. But I was at home and I had 3 broken fingers. My hand was huge. Well, I think it was this part of my hand too. Didn't go to the doctor. And she called me, my coach, and it was like 3 days in, and she was like, coming back. And I didn't have COVID, but I was,
Yeah, you were
Quarantine.
quarantined.
yeah, like I had to be, because I was in
Close
contact. Like very close. Never got it, I don't know how. But then she called me and she was like, hey, when are you coming back? And I was like, dude, I'm like quarantined for like a week. Like, what? And she was like, alright, well, I'm just letting you know that I have another girl in line that I'm gonna call if you don't come back. And I was like, I can't even go on campus. Like, I can't even use my card to get into the athletic facility. Like, they'll know I was there. All my cheer stuff was in my dorm room. They called and they were like, get out. Like, go home. I had to beg them to go home. I was like, I'm not staying in a hotel. Like, I need to go home.
Yeah.
And everyone in our house already had COVID, like, a couple weeks prior. So whatever. So then I went. She basically threatened my position on the team because I was quarantined, but I didn't have COVID. So I had to literally, like, sneak onto campus.
Are you still in the blackout stage at this point? Where
Yeah.
everything's blacked out and you're
Yeah.
not... Okay.
I was just like, everything she said, I was like, yep.
I can't imagine, like, how stressed I would have
Yeah,
been.
I know this probably isn't the end of like the cheer story and like absolute shit you were given, but was there a point where you looked back and you're like, I don't know if this is really worth it if
Yeah.
I keep getting injured over and over again?
I was like, honestly, like, halfway through, I was like, I'm over it. Like, I was like, my body is, like, done. Like, I can't go out. But it sounds, like, cliche, but I literally stayed, like, because of the team. Like, they picked Matt. They picked who was competing at Nationals. I was center flyer, which is, like...
And you
Important.
and your coach, correct me if I'm wrong, and not to interrupt, but your coach calling you and saying that your spot's going to be on the team after you taped up your hand and continued to practice and went in 2 days later, and all these things are because you wanted to be
Right.
on the team, right?
Yeah.
And participate. Like, you're doing everything in your power for the team.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
that's why I would have quit on the spot. Like, there were so many times where, like, second finger, I probably would have quit on the spot. But I loved the girls, like, best group of girls I've ever played a sport with in my entire life. There were, like, 50 of them. Sweetest girls ever. It was a sucky year. Like, I was just like, I don't quit things. Like, I never quit anything. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to finish the year and figure it out. But no, never was like, I'm going to quit.
Yeah. Did you ever get any praise from this coach?
Towards the end of she was very tough. Like, she was just very tough. She didn't care how people felt. I meant to say this. When I would hit the mat a gazillion times, no girls were allowed to pick you up, like, help you up. So everyone would just stand there and, like, watch you.
As like a
suck it up.
Is that a coach rule, or is that
no?
like
She just.
cheer rule?
It's like
she
a
would
culture thing.
scream
Like
at you.
you need to get yourself
I mean,
up.
She would.
Those types of coaches like that.
No, yeah,
I get it, like a culture thing, but there's some points where people get too injured, and you gotta, not be a coach anymore.
I also don't understand the location on the phone thing. I don't get
it's kind of weird.
I don't get the saying your spot, whatever.
Yeah.
The problem, in my opinion, that it all stems down to, if you want to look at it in the broad scheme of things, was I caught one little part before you started talking about it, and it was you guys did not have a trainer, correct?
No.
Didn't have a trainer. So if there was a trainer, a middleman in between you and the coach, that person their job is to say, hey coach, she has a broken finger, she can't go in yet until 2 weeks, blah, 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 blah. Same thing with all your other injuries. And the COVID thing, she would step in, or he or she would step in.
Yeah, no, we didn't.
That's something that bothers me, is when, because I've seen my fair share of athletics in college, is I get it. I'll be the first person to say it. I get it. 100%. Football and basketball, those in hockey, those are your money makers. By all means, you got to fund them. But when sports like cheerleading and baseball, field hockey, or whatever the sport is, track's a big one too, don't get the resources like a trainer. I've heard of people on teams not getting water for practice
they shouldn't
at a
have
Division I level. That's what bothers me, because a lot of this stuff is just, it gets so brushed over by the people that are making the decisions, that stuff ends up like happening like this, where Nikki wants to compete on the goddamn team so bad that she's fucking taping her finger to a pencil and trying to play. That's, and it's a pyramid, right? It's whoever's up top, whoever's making the decisions doesn't care. So who does it affect? Well, it's going to affect the school because you got to pay this person this X money and staff this, staff that. But when it really comes down to it, and we have people in here like Nicole talking about it, none of the student athletes or athletes ever get a say in any of this.
No.
They never get a spot like this where you can say, this happened, this happened, this happened. It never gets brought up.
Yeah, I've never had an experience like that with a trainer. I would use to pop my shoulder back in before I saw the trainer, because the trainer would literally come to me all the time because she had shoulder problems, to check on me after I got like destroyed in a corner or something.
Was it like, for you guys in sports, was it like if you went to the trainer you were like a loser? 'Cause that's how it was in cheer.
No, not for our group. I mean, if you went to the trainer, there was something seriously wrong with you. So I was like, get it fixed and see what's good.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, don't go to the trainer, you gotta keep playing. Like, a lot of guys played through a lot of stuff, like separated shoulders and things like that.
Yeah.
That's not too big of a deal. But if it was like a concussion, dude, get out of the locker room.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if you're dazed around, please leave and go to the emergency room or something.
Mm-hmm.
It was craziness. I don't know.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, as a whole, I think where we can transition from is you stopped cheering.
Mm.
Your sophomore year, and you're going to be a junior.
Yeah.
I can see a lot of reasons why you would stop.
Yeah.
But was there another reason that why did you stop, I would say, is what I'm trying to say. Like an idiot for 10 seconds.
I interpreted it. for what you said, if I got praise, I did at the end of the year. I just remembered that. They gave me Rookie of the Year, which was cool. And then, you know, I, like, came to the end of the year, and it's like, I love these girls. It sucked, but maybe it was because of COVID. Like, maybe all this madness was because of COVID. I should at least have another normal year under my belt. This wasn't even normal. So I was like, all right. And then I went to my physical, like my yearly physical before you go back to college. And she, like, did the physical, whatever. And she was like, you lost, like, 15 pounds. And I was like, really? And she was like, yeah, like, do you not? And I was like, I had no idea. So, like, literally no idea. And which is, like, abnormal. Like, I really didn't have weight to lose, honestly. I was, like, little then. Didn't really have weight to lose. She was like, you lost 15 pounds. I was like, wow, crazy. And then she was like, I get so weird when I'm in the doctor's office with stuff like that. I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't know. So then she starts asking me, she's like, do you eat? And I was like, yes. And I didn't have a diet. Like, I didn't eat, like, broccoli. Like, I just would eat how I would normally eat, but the level of intensity that I wasn't used to, like, if I had, like, mac and cheese, it would be gone the first half an hour cheer, because I was nonstop.
You were blacked out. You were doing school and doing cheerleading, and you're forgetting to eat. That's classic. That's classic.
I would eat, but also I, like, blacked out. I don't even, like, remember, but I would eat. Like, there was never a time, like, I definitely didn't eat the nutritious meals that you could normally have. I didn't eat at the dining hall.
You're eating shit.
It was high school. It was literally high school lunch because it was COVID. So we didn't even have, like, UMass's dining hall. Like, it was, like, high school lunch. Yeah. So I, like, freaked out, and I told her everything I ate every day. I'm a pretty simple eater. I told her everything I ate, and she was like, all right, is there anything else that happened? And I was like, well, I, like, broke 3 fingers. And she said, and there were other things that factored into it for my health that I don't really want to mention, but I had no idea. I had no idea any of this, but once she said it, you know, doctors are smart.
Yeah.
She was like,
typically right.
This is why you're breaking your fingers, because you have no calcium, you have no nutrients in your body. So my bones were, like, disintegrating.
They call that a team nutritionist. Some sports get those.
Yeah. So I was like, wow. All right. I probably would have cheered and done sports till I had one arm.
Yeah.
And I was like, she basically implied that if I continued to do cheer, I would have to be, like, hospitalized. And, like, I was like, whoa, Dr. DeLuca, what do you mean, girl? Like, I was
crazy.
like, what do you mean? And not that it's funny, but I was just, like, going for my normal checkup, thinking everything's all good, and she told me that, and I was like, all right. I called my coach, and I was like, right before the season, I was like, I can't do it. She was like, and then I'll never forget what they said to me. They said they had, like, 5 different Zoom calls with me. Like, they kept calling me, asking for meetings with me. I think I had, like, 3 Zoom calls with them. And they were, like, persuading me to come back. And I was, hello? Like, I was like, I'm
doing this for my health.
Right. And she was like, well, what are you going to do? And I was like, well, I just changed from my track of PT to PA, which is way harder. So I'm going to focus on school. And I said, believe it or not, I will actually do that, because I know a lot of kids who quit sports don't. And I was like, that's where all my focus is going to go, and I'm going to go to the gym. She said, you're going to do that every day? And guess what? I go every single day. The gym.
So go ahead, Alex. Ask her the question that I'm thinking.
Oh, I was just going to say, I don't know if this is what we're both thinking, but how the fuck does a coach or a team lose a Rookie of the Year? Obviously, there's something wrong within this organization. I don't understand how that's even a possibility.
Yeah.
And I also don't get how they just laid and made their own bed.
Yeah.
Like, oh, why can't you cheer this year? I broke 3 fingers, you know this.
They almost...
You literally made your own bed for your Rookie of the Year. And that's the reason why she's not coming back. What's more to understand? And you're sitting here trying to persuade somebody to come back to the team. It's kind of disrespectful in my eyes.
The thing is, too, is we didn't come on here to shit talk the team that you played for or whoever. But I will say this. A lot of the stuff that you've said is just a fact.
Yeah.
It's just a fact.
That's...
Like,
yeah.
you can back everything up with what you've said on numerous occasions. You can back up what you're saying. None of that is false. Like I said, what often goes unnoticed is what is coming from people like you who work their tail off. They don't get this voice, so you don't see it in a lot of places. So that, if people are listening to this and they're like, whoa, like, a little surprised, well, yeah, you don't hear it from Exhibit A all the time. And I think this is great so far, and I'm learning a lot. I didn't even know this about you. I knew you broke a finger. I didn't know you broke 3 at the same time, or the pencil. Didn't know that.
I didn't really. Throughout the year, I would come home and to my friends, and I'd be like, "Got another one. Like, got another broken finger."
You got like the whole you got like a pen here, a Sharpie here.
It was so bad. The funny thing is, it's so like silly to say, but like I was very dedicated like athlete, and I went to like, it wasn't a party, but it was like a little shindig at the end of the year, and I fully went with my hands taped like this in front of people I didn't even know.
Alright, so you ended up stopping cheer, and you were a sophomore last year. You're going into your junior year. What was it like after you cheering, and you just doing school? You changed majors, so you were focusing more on school. You took all that determination and your broken fingers off a cheer, and you're like, you know what, I can apply myself and do, what is it, PA? Yeah, so let's hear about that. How was that last year?
Well, honestly, kind of sucked going into sophomore year because I didn't have a lot of friends. I was friends with basically everyone on the cheer team, but I was not close with them because I was going through, like, had 3 broken fingers. I just was quiet, did my job, left. And cheer was the only time I could socialize. Like, that's it.
Because freshman year,
only time. Yeah. So when I would go, everyone was just miserable. Like, everyone just was like, this is how we socialize. So then I went into sophomore year and kind of just wung it. Like, I was like, all right, let's have a little bit of fun maybe. But
meet some people, talk to some people, that'd be
socialize.
good.
It's crazy. So then it was hard at first. I felt like a freshman going into my sophomore year. Like, that's how it felt. I had a house. I didn't have a dorm, which was great. But then I kind of just was like, I feel like I bloomed. Like, I just became this social butterfly, and I met some great people. I met some crappy people, found my crew. And then school was hard because I switched. So it was like kinesiology. I was applied track. Then I went from kinesiology pre-professional, like pre-med. So now I'm pre-med. And I had to take, like, organic chemistry. Yep. Not good. Called you that day crying when I was taking it. Yeah. But it was hard.
Not that I helped in any way, but yeah, keep going.
No, you did.
Yeah, keep going.
It was hard, but it was like, challenging. Like, I liked the drive that I switched over to school now.
Yeah. You used it sounds like you used the same drive that you had.
Yeah.
With Dad.
Because I kind of was pissed. Like, I was like, you think I'm going to sit on my ass and, like, not do anything. So I'm going to go get good grades, go to the gym, make friends.
That's the question that I thought you were going to ask was, did you use that comment to whoever said that to you of, oh, are you really going to do that every day? As, like, yeah,
no, I was
am going to
pissed.
do that every day. Do you think about that a lot?
I was pissed. Because I was, like, offended. Because I broke 3 fingers, went through the ringer, and I'm like, you think I'm going to go sit on my ass and not like do, and I lost 15 pounds. Like, it's kind of rude.
Yeah.
Like.
Do you think about that a lot?
All the time.
There you go.
Like, some days when I'm like, I don't want to go to the gym, I think about that. And I'm like, ooh.
That's fire.
That is fire.
like
That's
that a
fire
lot.
because Nikki's. I want to talk about this after, but Nikki's the type of person. I'm obviously her older brother. She grew up with 2 older brothers, but Nikki's different than me and Sean, where she don't take shit from anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as soon Nikki will be the first person to call you out and be like, "Yo, that's not right. This is what's right," and get in like a fight with somebody about it. Not in like a fist fight or anything, just like she tells you what the truth is. Yeah. And I can totally see that shit bothering you, and you being like, I can see her walking by me in the house and being like, "I'm going to the gym." And now I'm picturing it in my head, I'm like, she's thinking about that time.
Well, the thing is I'm not afraid to speak my mind. I'm not afraid, like, I just state facts. Like, I'm serious. I'm not, like, talking crap about this coach. I'm just stating what she had done, like, whatever.
Yeah.
That's fine. Don't mind the lady. Like, I say hi to her. Like, still talk to her sometimes. Like, if I see her, like, whatever. But, like, when it comes to authority and people, like, respect. I have a lot of respect.
Yeah, you always have respect.
So shutting my mouth and just going through all of that. And last year, if you asked me, I would have been like, no, it's great. Everything's going good. I'm fine. Yeah, I have broken fingers, but everything's good. Now I'm like, she really, like, I went through the ringer.
Yeah.
And, like.
You're like that. Yeah, you're just like.
It motivates.
Not to interrupt you.
Yeah, no.
It motivates you.
Mm-hmm.
That shit
Yeah.
bothers you.
But the thing was, it was a different coach that said that to me, so I took it pretty personal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. So now I think about it all the time.
Yeah.
But.
You do,
I got like 5 minutes, like, when I'm about to work out. I just literally think of every single person who's done me wrong, and it makes me so fucking mad, and then I just start going crazy. That's just how I go.
You guys are unbelievable. I just, like, put on music and go
Well, that's what I.
lift heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
but, like,
what I
we do that, but we gotta.
No, I know. I don't have my. I don't.
It's
You know what I'm
only.
Yeah.
It's
Maybe I should start doing
You
that.
should. It feels a little different.
only the days where I'm like, I don't want to go.
Well, you're proving a point is what you're doing, and you're also doing that too. I guess I don't
Yeah.
really have a point to prove until Erin like tells me that I'm a
Because.
fat piece of crap, and I like, you know, maybe she does need to tell me that.
Well, I think personally I think that the best, not like revenge, but like slap in the face is like actions rather than like I could have been like, F y'all, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, I could have been like, sayonara, never coming back, see you later, here are my medical bills, like, whatever. And I just said, alright, bit my tongue, and then I was like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, where are you at? I guess, big brother, like, we don't really sit down and talk career paths, I guess, as brother and sister. We kind of just, you know, do brother and sister things and just talk about whatever. But I guess I've never asked, like, where you're at now. Like, where do you want to go? Is it school next? Are you going to med school after this? Like,
Yeah, well, the plan's to go to PA school in Boston. Hopefully I get there, but it's going that way.
and what do you want to be?
Physician's assistant. But sports medicine physician's assistant.
You're going to be,
I
yeah.
was gonna
So
say,
for-
I feel like that's a really good career choice based off the fact that you didn't have a trainer to
Did you-
sit there and see all these injuries. Did that ever cross your mind where you're like, I'm going into this is like the exact reason
Yeah.
from cheering I didn't have someone there to help and see all these injuries, and now you're kind of going into the field where it's sports related, physician. There's kind of like that connect there.
Yeah.
Did you ever?
Well, I had so many injuries like you did growing up. Like I broke my middle finger also when I was younger in gymnastics. I broke the growth plates. I had a whole cast. But I remember I was in the doctor's office and I saw the x-ray and I was like, I've already been here like 5 times. Like, I already know the place. Like, I'm kind of, like, interested to how my body, how this happens.
Mm-hmm.
So that, I remember from when I was little, I was like, this is what I want to do. But then, cheer, honestly, it was more outside of cheer. Like, I just hurt myself so much, and I was like, yeah. But then, I've heard of so many, like, from friends and, like, family, like, how many doctors have, like, misdiagnosed them. And now there's, like, some pretty shitty doctors out there that have no, like, morals, like, don't care about patients and, like, our mom's a nurse. She cares so much about her patients, it's insane. So, like, I just feel like I want to be there for patients rather than...
Yeah, we need more people like you.
Yeah.
I was misdiagnosed at 13 years old for a torn labrum. They said it was a bruise.
Stupid.
I was walking around like this for 3 years until I
It's
went back.
ridiculous.
Remember, I stopped playing baseball because they actually
Yep.
found out.
Yeah, I had a
Yeah.
broken bone in my hand. They thought it was a ligament. It wasn't.
Misdiagnosed
Yeah.
shit is just
It's
unbelievable.
frustrating.
Yeah. And not that, like, people make mistakes, but some people genuinely, like, nowadays, not for all doctors, but, like, especially since COVID, people are just, like, throwing medication, like, just do PT, like, go to this doctor, and, like, it shouldn't, I'm not speaking for all doctors, but I don't think it should be like
Yeah.
that. I don't know.
I think growing up in a family with boys and going to Sean and I's games and the quads, the dirt bikes, and the sports with you made you sort of be able to tackle, like, or choose, like, the sport.
Like, choose cheerleading?
No, your doctor position.
Oh. I just think that I found, like, I think from sports growing up, not so much the environment we had at home. I think the environment we had at home made me, like, suck it up in sports and, like, the drive. No one ever sits still at our house. No one's not working. That's really, it gave me, like, the mental aspect of it,
Yeah.
like, for sports, but...
I appreciate you answering my dumb question with a really intelligent response and saying that that resulted in your drive that you have.
Yeah, I was trying to take some credit, you know.
No, I was.
I know.
No, it built more of, like, my character rather than, because, like, mom and dad are like, do whatever you want, like, find whatever you like to do and go for it, and I'll support you either way. So I was kind of like, all right, what am I gonna do? And I was like, well, I'm already in the hospital all the time, so I might as well.
Yeah.
But they gave me that drive, so I was like, okay, kind of.
Remember, I wonder if it's the same for her when you said, my mom doesn't care if I'm doing this or I'm selling gumballs at a bank.
Yeah.
She still puts me the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
I never forgot that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's pretty cool.
Yeah, talk
Shout
about-
out Marilyn.
Should be the
The
listening.
government name.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to college students going into their freshman year and their sophomore year, whether it's sports-wise or school-wise? Because I know you said you've been in moments where it felt kind of alone or you weren't that social. Like, would you say they should get out more? Would you say try to join a sports team, a club team? Do you have any advice for new college students?
It's a great question, Alex.
Thank you.
I think that you should try everything, and if it doesn't work out, then you don't have to do it. But you should I don't know how to word it. Hold on, let me think. I think that you should try everything, stick with what you're good at, but what you enjoy the most, because I would say I was good at sports and good at school, but, like, what I loved to do was sports. But now I'm just taking what I learned from that and putting it into something else that now I've learned that I loved through, like, finding new things and trying new things. Like, without COVID, I would have never have cheered, I don't think. Without cheer, I would have never have chose PA. So, like, everything happens for a reason. You live and you learn, and if you try something and you fail, there's another open door. So it's like, but also mental and physical health is very important. So that's the main key into all of it. Everything's hard, everything's difficult, but, like, if it's killing you and it's draining you, like, it shouldn't come to a point where, like, it's, like, really bad.
It's taking, like, your life.
Yeah. I don't know if that made sense.
No,
I
that made
think it
perfect
was
sense.
really good, actually.
I like the part where you said everything happens for a reason, and, like, if you kept cheerleading for 3 years, would you be doing the school stuff that you're doing now? I don't know.
Right.
One door closes, like 3, 4 open.
Yeah.
I guess my last question is, how did your childhood growing up make you to be where you're at today? Through all that, all we just talked about, how did that?
I think that I was having 2 older brothers and like a mom that had 6 brothers and then a dad. Everyone was just like, suck it up, Nick. Let's get it. Let's just keep it rolling. And I was like, all right. So I learned to suck it up. And mom and dad are always working, always constantly working, but also like providing us with like amazing things. So it's like I feel like they formed me into this person that's like work your ass off and like good things will come. And it's like I just applied that to everything that I do, like literally even in the gym, like just everything that I do. And I think that like watching you and like Sean and Eddie, 2 complete opposites. Sean chose the work like in college, and you were athlete, school, and work. And it's kind of like two completely like different things. And you just chose what you loved and he chose what he loved, and there were 2 different things. And I was like, I can like do and put like love into anything that I want. It could be sports, it could be school, it could be PA. And I was just like, all right, if one door closes, another one opens. So I just feel like I kind of just, our family taught wherever you go, you're going to end up in the right place. And as much as I complained at the time and like a lot of shitty things happened, I was like, I wouldn't have met the people, I wouldn't have done this, I wouldn't have done that. And I think that if I didn't go through the things that I went through with cheer and like the whole suck it up thing, like I probably would have done that for the rest of my life if I never had a shitty year.
Yeah.
So I learned how to take care of myself through that.
Learn life lessons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that it?
Well, I just like to say I love my life now. My life's good now.
No, I didn't get that sense from you that it was like all doom and gloom. I think you're just telling me how it was. I don't think when you listen to it you're gonna feel like that either. And I think at the end you telling us about after cheer really, you were enjoying what you were saying in terms of you going to school in the gym.
Yeah.
I also like straightened my whole like health issues out. Like those where I did research, figured it out. So that's all good.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
I think there's a lot of people out there who have no idea even what the fuck goes on during cheer or any of that. So that's a great perspective to have, and guess what? It's a very vigorous sport and people break bones every single day. So
Yeah.
Yeah, watch Cheer on Netflix. That's what it was like.
Cheer on Netflix.
Yeah.
Give it a watch.
it sounds extremely dangerous, so
I know.
You guys should watch it, I'm telling you. That's
good.
how it was.
But Nikki's going to school tomorrow.
Woo!
okay.
Taking on junior year. Congratulations, Nikki.
Round of applause.
Woo! I'm gonna use pencils to write, not to make
Yeah, no snapping and taping. Junior year coming in hot. I'm sure you'll be around, be in here eventually. No longer working the camera. I won't say the amount of money, but just know, Nikki, that whatever that a camera is worth, that's a monetary value, and you're like, I am worth at least that amount of money.
She's still a part of the company, right?
She's currently furloughed.
Be fine.
No, furloughed means
I know, but you don't have to put it in a nice way.
She's going to school.
You're a
seasonal worker. You're 1099.
I told Mom
Where'd you get
I go
fired?
to my mom today, I'm like, Ma, have you ever gotten fired without being told you're fired? And she was like, what do you mean? You're irreplaceable. It's like, okay.
Of course Mom would say that. It's like the girlfriend that you had in elementary school where you're like, will you be my girlfriend? And then you never talk to her. And like, you're just at recess with your boys. Yeah. Or you like you're in 7th grade, you text your girlfriend or boyfriend, you're like, we're done. Never talking to you
Yeah,
again.
right.
I guess that's what you're saying in terms of you getting
sorry.
fired.
I didn't
Take
take
it
it. I didn't take it personally.
Well, you
It's
didn't
just time off.
You didn't get fired.
Yeah,
You're
it's just time
seasonal.
off.
Seasonal
Right.
employment.
Contract.
Yeah, it's in your deal.
Yeah.
Alright, I think that will wrap it up.
Yep.
Any
Cut.
last words, Nick?
Shout out Ed Hart Title V Services.
There it is right there.
Runs in the family. I love it.
See ya.